See.
Very powerful. Finish off all those leftover tasks. But how did I do it all so effectively and quickly? Well, if you saw my original Theorycraft plan build video, things have changed a little bit from that plan, even if the core build has stayed the same. Further, the little details of how to maximize not only my output, but the situation have come into play as I've played and learned more. I want to share all that with you guys today. The build remains centered around Bone Spear though, that incredibly powerful straight shooting spear that we spawn in and throw in a direction. With some very simple setup, we can make that spear shred anything it touches, while creating vulnerability, follow-up damage and spears, it breaks, bounces off the splinters, which also penetrate. We're going to be popping those bodies constantly to not only maintain high essence, but high damage boost. From that, even you take regular rares and legendaries. And let's cover the talents, and as requested in the theory videos, I'll show you my leveling path as best I can, but just so you can see, we have all of these abilities. These are what we're going to be going for. At level 1, we're picking up Bone Splinters.
Right, let's follow the guide, because I need to redo my build, because it is shit. So the first thing I'm going to do is nuke the game sound so I can actually hear this video. Nuke the sound. Save. Back to games. Nope. Fuck the shop. Refund all. Ugh. Go on then. Right. So.
Videos, I'll show you my leveling path as best I can, but just so you can see, we have all of these abilities. These are what we're going to be going for. At level 1, we're picking up Bone Splinters. This is a bone based build, so just increasing our passive damage by using bone damage is always going to be good. And we're going to enhance this right away at level 3. This is something we'll actually leave from here because we're not using this for its damage at all, just for essence generation. Our core skill and main damage dealer in the build then is obviously the Bone Spear, which we'll pick up immediately as soon as we can, and then we enhance that so it breaks into 3 shards when it's destroyed, dealing damage on that. We're going to go for the top one, Supernatural Spear, which means it will make enemies vulnerable.
Right, so he's gone. So it makes enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds.
So the first Bone Spear makes them vulnerable, the next one absolutely devastates. Now we need to reach the next tier, and we want to power our core skill as much as possible, so we're going to put a point into that to get there. So now we've unlocked the next tier, we can actually get our next skills. Here you could pick up Blood Mist if you feel you want the iframes. It is nice, but this comes into play later game.
Hold up. Something's gone wrong. I think before we do this, we're going to refund all, confirm. We're going to take all my gear off. Yep, Naked Necromancer in town, baby. Right, anyway.
Like towards the end of the droid, they at level 3. This is something we'll actually leave from here because we're not using this for its damage at all, just for essence generation. Our core skill and main damage dealer in the build then is obviously the Bone Spear, which we'll pick up immediately as soon as we can, and then we enhance that so it breaks into 3 shards when it's destroyed, dealing damage on that. We're going to go for the top one, Supernatural Spear, which means it will make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. So the first Bone Spear makes them vulnerable, the next one absolutely devastates. Now we need to reach the next tier, and we want to power our core skill as much as possible, so we're going to put a point into that to get there. So now we've unlocked the next tier, we can actually get our next skills. Here you could pick up Blood Mist if you feel you want the iframes. It is nice, but this comes into play later game, like towards the end of the leveling and when you hit nightmare mode. So you can opt to ignore this for a little while if you want, but just to show me getting it, I'm going to be getting Corpse Explosion and Blood Mist at this level. Corpse Explosion allows us to target the corpses and pop them. We will of course enhance this to make the explosion wider, and then out of the two we're going to go for Plagued. because as part of this build, we're pulling, we're slowing, and we're stunning, and so that's going to make Corpse Explosion deal massively increased damage to stunned enemies. The wombo combo we do works perfectly with that. But now we've got to actually fill up the Bone Spear to max out its rank. Now we're dealing the max damage we can from upgrading this skill. But now that's done, we really need to work on our essence situation, which is pretty expensive without any proper generation. That's where we're going to pick up Grim Harvest, because as you can see, every time we consume a corpse, we just get 3 essence. So as we AoE, we pop a load of these corpses and get loads of it back. This is a vital skill and we want to max that out. Further, corpses are mega important, and Hued Flesh causes a 4% chance every time you deal damage to a target to spawn a corpse for free. That chance being doubled against bosses means every time you hit a boss, there's an 8% chance with just one level of this to spawn a corpse, which means you can pop it and get essence to keep DPSing, or maybe stun the boss using the corpse, as we'll talk about. But now with those points spent, we're finally down into this tree where we can finally pick up corpse tendrils, which is how we're pulling all the enemies together, and as we enhance it, we're going to slow them at the same time, and with Plague Corpse Tendril, we're going to make them vulnerable. The synergy is awesome with this build when it comes to vulnerability, and we're going to increase our vulnerable damage massively. We're not using this ability for damage though, we're never really going to upgrade this, but it pulls in packs of enemies and stuns them, leaves them vulnerable and exposed. That's where we can blast them. Also in this tree is where we mega enhance our bone skills. All of these are awesome, but we only have so many points, so we're going to get the most efficient ones. Firstly, Serration. 3 out of 3 on that is incredibly important. Increased critical strike chance for each 10 essence we have upon cast, 100 or higher. It just means we're getting really good critical strike chance, making it more likely to happen. 3 out of 3 on Compound Fracture by comparison then means when we critically strike 10 times with our bone skills, we just get this 15% increased damage for bone skills for 5 seconds. So you're powering this up and then you go ham when that procs. Lastly, for 3 out of 3 we go for Evulsion, and there it is. Our critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies is up from bone skills by 18%. So we make them vulnerable, then we smash them. As I will explain, this is a sacrifice build, so we're not using minions, we're making ourselves mega powerful, which is very nice for leveling when your minions just die annoyingly. For that, we're going to take 1 level standalone to actually unlock Memento Mori, which enhances the power of our sacrifices. The sacrifice bonuses are up by 60% thanks to this, which is obviously major. Now we finally reach our key passive. Of course, we're going for Ossified Essence. 1% increased damage for each point of essence you have above 50 when casting a bone skill. So our Bone Spear can deal 50% increased damage if we're at 100 essence or even higher thanks to this key skill. It's insane, and this is why having high essence when you're casting your abilities is important. Now we can just pick up our ultimate. We're going to go for Bone Storm. Of course, we've got so many ways to increase bone damage. Why not make our AoE strong as hell? Of course, we'll then enhance it with the Prime and Supreme. So while it's active, we have 20% increased critical strike chance, which is awesome. Now we can come back up the tree and start spending the leftover points. For example, we're dealing a lot of damage through Corpse Explosion, so we're going to go ahead and max that out at this point. Once we've maxed out this, it's finally time for us to pick up.
Right, that's all the points I've got. It's going to be interesting. So we are going to save that. We're going to drag... Oh, come on. Piece of shit work. So we're going to Book of the Dead. Skirmisher's Sacrifice. I've not tried a sacrifice build yet. Skeletal Mage's Cold and Sacrifice. And Iron Golem. Sacrificed.
aspects that increase the power of sacrificed benefits, which would be great in this build if you find one.
There's obviously Bone Spear, etc. on the triggers. Corpse Explosion.
Next up, let's talk about equipment and aspects to cover what we've been talking about that we really need a lot of
Blood Wave in there, which doesn't make much sense if I'm honest. Corpse Explosion. Bone Prison. Do we actually want Bone Prison? See, when you're looking at this, some of what he's done don't make much sense. See, some of the information it's put in this doesn't really make sense.
The next one absolutely devastates. Now we need to reach the next tier and we want to power our core skill as much as possible, so we're going to put a point into that to get there. So now we've unlocked the next tier, we can actually get our next skills. Here you could pick up Blood Mist if you feel you want the iframes. It is nice, but this comes into play later game, like towards the end of the leveling and when you hit nightmare mode. So you can opt to ignore this for a little while if you want, but just to show me getting it, I'm going to be getting Corpse Explosion and Blood Mist at this level.
So he did actually go with Blood Mist. Interesting. Anyway. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm not using it.
I cannot do that here.
What do we want to do? Press on with story, or do we want to clear shit? Let's press on with story.
I'm not ready yet. I lack the required essence. lack the required essence. I'm not ready yet. I'm out of essence.
I'm not gonna lie, this build feels shit. It actually feels really fucking terrible. The fuck?
Corpse Explosion allows us to tackle. It's insane. And this is why maxing and finishing off your max essence, these utilities we create, we absolutely smash. You get this at level 32. It's amazing. It's such a power spike. And there are aspects as well as bursty. The problem with this one, as you can see, is it comes from the Gulran slums in the dry steppes. If we zoom out on the map to the west side, you can see the dry sections. These are easy to get. One of them you can get pretty much come build. Anything that's going to increase your core damaging options, the body. But the three main ones have got to be your offensive one in the case of our bone spear increase and effectively. After that, it's just about keeping your essence high for the passives to make your bone spear deal the most damage it can. Trying at least to have more than 50 essence every time you use bone spear in optimal scenarios. But the more essence you have on every bone spear cast, the better. But there you have it. That is our build and the thing that I've been doing.
No, that's terrible. It's like, yeah, you use this build for leveling, but you have to get shit from the end game to... Yeah, no, fuck off. That is stupid. Right, you can't turn around and say that I have devised this build which is amazing for leveling, and then turn around and say, well, it only actually works once you have this item which you only get from the end game. That is pathetic. That is actually dumb as fuck.
A similar build to what I showcased, a theory crafted build, but today I'll be showing off actual gameplay of this build as well as some modifications to it. You can do it as a great leveling build. I didn't look at this build and how it operates, so you can see below, here are the abilities that we will be using. We've got Corpse Explosion, Decrepify, Blood Wave, Golem, Hemorrhage, and then Blood Surge. So let's go into the actual skill menu. I'm going to go press expand so we can go through this a little bit easier, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown.
Okay. I apologise to the great god that is Italian Spartacus. I should have looked at his shit first, because frankly, I'm going to run out of money doing this, aren't I? I am going to run out of money. I'm going to have to...
So we're going to be using Hemorrhage as our basic ability. It's going to have the chance to spawn Blood Orbs, which can help us out in a lot of the different aspects that we will be getting as we push through this build. But the big thing here is that it is a source of Fortify. That is crucial for the way that Overpower works, and we'll talk about that in a second once we get down to Blood Wave and Wrathma's Chosen, or whatever the hell it's called. Then Enhanced Hemorrhage here is going to give Blood Orbs. Your next Hemorrhage also deals damage to 2 enemies. That's all right. It's okay. Initiates Hemorrhage is what we want because it gives us another chance to fortify. It just helps us out right there. And Fortify is going to be good when you're leveling up as well as the end game. You can start with Acolytes if you so wish, just to increase your attack speed, but this is a really good way to start off. And if you want a per level breakdown, like I've said many times, it's in the Google Doc in the description. Go ahead and use that. From there, we're going to be using Blood Surge, which is again...
This is why he actually gives you a Google Doc. Seriously, I will sing the praise of Italian Spartacus for my whole fucking life. He is amazing. Right. This guy is fucking amazing. Go check him out. Right. Oh, and he even has a bone build. You gotta love this guy. But we're gonna go for a bloody golden necromancer because I'm sick of my minions. So, following his theme, we got hemorrhage. Enhanced hemorrhage. No, it's blood surge, which is enhanced blood surge heals you for maximum of your life when drawing blood from enemies from or enemies are drawn from the heal additional, which is good. Paranormal blood surge. If enemy is damaged by blood surge is nova while you are healthy. Health is more than 80% of life. And initiates hemorrhage. Corpse explosion is the next one. I need to take my gear off. Enhanced corpse explosion. And 3 grim harvests. Right. Gear comes off. Let's get rid of this shit. I don't want it. Cool. Right. Now I know what I'm dealing with. So. Blood surge. That's 14. Unliving energy. Increase your maximum essence by 3. Gruesome mending. Why would I take? Why would you take gruesome mending? I can't remember where the fuck it is. What about 50% life you receive 10% more heal? Ah, right. Okay. Colourless blood. Makes sense. Tides of Blood. Your blood skills deal 5% increased overpower damage. Okay. Blood Wave. Fine Blood Wave. Supreme Blood Wave. Golem Mastery. Is that one? Nope. Three points into Golem. Memento Mori. Which is that one. No? So standalone increased damage reduction by 6%, which... Okay. So we know Rathma's Vigor. The card says it's blood. Two in Tides of Blood. Two in Blood Search. So 3 in amplify damage, which kind of makes sense. And then corpse explosion. Good old corpse explosion. Right, and that, as they say, is it. So we are now at that point. So 46. Right. Skill points. Okay, Book of the Dead. There you go, Book of the Dead. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Golem, Blood Golem. I believe he said second skill. Kind of makes sense. That's cool. Corpse explosion there. Probably decrepify on that one. None of my gear is suitable for this. Cool, right. As I said, I do like Italian Spartacus. He is fucking amazing. What does he recommend for gear? That is the question
and another
here.
source of fortify if we go a certain way. We're taking a look at, but we're on d4builds.gg. We're going to switch over to gear and skills to talk about all of our aspects. Now, this is super overwhelming if you're brand new to the game. Don't worry about it. Don't think you have to jump into all this stuff to actually have the build work. The only like 2 or 3 ones you really need to get ASAP are blood-bathed aspect. Now, this isn't the Hoarfrost Demis in the Fractured Peaks. That's super easy to get. It's in Act 1. You can just put this on your gloves, your weapon, your ring, your amulet, whatever it is. If you put it on a weapon and you're leveling up, I don't advise that just because you'll be swapping your weapon out so often. But it's also, it's codex, so it's going to roll with 70% less damage. Any codex ability has the lowest possible denominator. You can just put this on your weapon a whole bunch of times while you're leveling up. It's not that big of a deal. But you probably want to put it on gloves and just never touch the gloves while you're leveling up. But it is a very crucial one because Blood Surge's Nova echoes again after a short delay, dealing 70 to 60% less damage. So every time you press Blood Nova, you get, Blood Surge, you get an additional Nova out of it, which is huge. It actually does a ton of damage, especially if it is overpowered. Remember, it's doing the 70% less damage of the overpowered Blood Surge. Also, Tidal Aspect. So Blood Wave fires 2 additional waves, each dealing 50 to 60% less damage than the previous. This is unfortunately a drop aspect, meaning you can only get it from, you guessed it, drops. So simply what you'd want to do to quickly and easily get this is go to the Oobles vendor in any town and use your Whispering Oobles, wherever the hell they're called, on the gloves slot, because this will roll on gloves, cheap and easy, and you can extract it, put it on any of these other items, or just keep it on the gloves, whatever works best for you. Those are the 2 real big ones. Now,
Based on working on overpower damage.
I cannot do that here.
Take a chance, wanderer. Fair bit of magic in that one. Oh, it seems your prayers have been answered.
What have we got? 2 ranks of Blood Search, lucky hits. Not really anything I want that up. Oh well. Yeah, fuck it. Let's keep going. Just realised I haven't got kick open. Bom, bom, bom. Wow, this dashboard's got messy. Oh my fucking god, really? Right. Okay, hopefully that saved that time. Yeah, it did. Thank fuck for that. Let's just drop that down the bottom.
Now, outside of that, though,
Skill watching intelligence.
you're going to get stuff like Aspect of the Crowded Sage for healing. Might is just to help out with damage reduction. Those are just generic ones. But Aspect of the Embalmer here helps consuming a corpse has a 20 to 30% chance to spawn a blood orb, which is kind of fun because Aspect of Potent Blood, while at full life, blood orbs grant 10 to 20 essence. So what you're doing here is getting 9 blood orbs every time you use Aspect of the Embalmer is going to help push blood orbs towards the corpse or hemorrhage these blood orbs. Those are free resources, free essence for you that you can just kind of stack up. And we're going Edge Master's Aspect here, which you're going to get in Skull's Clan, which is going to give it so that skills deal up to 10 to 20% increased damage based on your available primary resource when casting. Receive the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. So basically you just jack up your resources and you do even more damage. An aspect of the
I need more time. ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more essence.
Yeah. I'm not worried about shrines. I'm just gonna. We're gonna keep going until we can unlock the mount. Or complete the story, whichever fucking happens first. At least then we can say you're actually beating the fucking.
Welcome to Firebreak Manor, traveler.
I'm here about the incident. Donan gave me permission to look around.
Incident.
That was all he said.
I must be referring to his study. Something unsettling transpired there.
This can't be. I know who you are.
And I know you, Donan. Old, tired, each day a struggle to live up to your own legacy.
What do you want with me?
Astaroth.
He's dead.
Astaroth cannot die. Not by your hand. What have you done with him?
Away, demon. I deny you.
You have grown so frail. I can make you the hero you were.
Return to the darkness from whence you came. I said away!
Well, he resisted the demon. Press that button.
I need more essence. I'm not ready yet. I lack the required essence. I'm not ready yet. I need more essence. I'm not ready yet.
Goat men. They've never dared come so close to the estate before.
Perhaps they were drawn by Lilith's presence. I saw a vision of her in your study.
What do you mean, a vision?
I don't fully understand how, but it isn't the first time.
Full of surprises, aren't you? No wonder you caught Lorath's attention. Well, now you understand my predicament. The daughter of hatred in my own home. She must be furious I cast her out.
That painting on your wall. Who are the others in it?
Why do you ask?
Lilith seemed to leave after seeing them.
Nafane and Arida. The druids who helped me slay Astaroth. Yes. Yes, I think you're onto something. I resisted her, so she might question them about the demon next. There are knights stationed in villages near the druids. If Lilith passed through, they must have seen her.
The attack on the manor has left me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this build, if I'm honest.
Poor man must have his hands full. Potent potables. What needs of you? On the morrow, traveller. Speed of the pack.
The Downs is my home, but Sanctuary...
An equitable transaction. Return soon.
Cool. Well, I've got money to respec when I need to.
The demons set the glen ablaze. Dunnan and the druids made it pay. The days of Ash have gone away, but ne'er forget their passing.
Then before I'd say these words, I fucking miss Tristram. Yeah, I'm not feeling this build either. It'd just be nice to have a decent fucking...
I found a lady.
Need to be sure my daughter has all the warding materials. She'll be a fine protector of our glen when she's old enough.
Charms and totems have always protected